Good morning. I am Master Sergeant Flanigan, and I will give you a block on spiritual fitness principles. These principles help us to fight and win in all areas of our life, including war. But first, I want us to work as a group. And we are going to create 3 lists with fitness principles, success indicators, and obstacles. But before I break you up into groups, I need to go over what each one is. When we talk about principles, we are talking about universal truths that represent standards. We'll focus on fitness principles. How many of you know the physical fitness principles in FM 722? If not, it's okay. When I break you into groups, we have the internet. One of them is progression. Progression is a fitness principle. Moving on to success indicators, we're thinking about things that measure the principle's effectiveness. Our fitness principle was progression. Our success indicator to figure out if the fitness principle was successful would be the ACFT event. Testing out on one single ACFT event to see if we got a higher score. That's what we're looking at. Now, obstacles. Obstacles prevent that fitness principle from becoming successful. If you remember, I said our fitness principle was progression. Our success indicator was the ACFT scoring a higher score on one specific event, right? And our obstacle would be injury. Does that make sense? Okay, I see nods. In your group, take one of the 9 principles of fitness and come up with some success indicators and obstacles to support that fitness principle. I'm gonna give you 5 to 7 minutes to work in your group. All right, go. So moving on to the next slide, we consider the 8 spiritual fitness principles. Can you see how they relate to the Army sustainment principles? The principles that sustain our Army in war will sustain our spirit as well. Discuss the principles that make spiritual fitness successful and conduct a spiritual fitness plan. Lastly, we'll go over the spiritual fitness assessment. When we look at principles versus moral relativism, principles are like a compass and a map, where relativism is a blindfold. Without a compass and a map, we are going to be lost. And with relativism, we will be walking blindly. Without principles, we're not going to get to our goal. Let's move on to the first spiritual fitness principle. Simplicity. Some of you chose simplicity as a principle. Look at this maze. How many of you are coffee or energy drinkers? That's 90%. What if I told you before you could have a sip of caffeine, you have to complete this maze? How many of you would be up for the challenge before any caffeine? Not many, right? How many of you would rush through it to get to caffeine? We never complete a task because we're constantly rushing through it. It's so complex that we quit before we even get started. The more simple the task, the more likely we are to complete it. That's what simplicity solves when talking about spiritual fitness. Here are some examples of simple spiritual practices. What do you do for some simple spiritual practices? If faced with a hard task, what would you do? Prayer, a 4-minute plank. You had for a brief second, that's what was happening, right? This happens daily. When somebody throws something at you not consistent with what you do in life, it's going to throw you for a loop. Consistency is regularly engaging in practices that nurture spiritual growth. So tell me, what can you do consistently to enhance your spiritual fitness? Go to church? What if I don't go to church? Spiritual fitness on your calendar, devotional, 30 days. Make a decision every day that this way. Consistency happens through what? Discipline. What about repetition? Just like Sergeant Major was saying, this morning we had PT. If you don't repetitiously do PT or formation, are you going to pass your ACFT? No, right? Consistency. This applies in all areas of your life. So see how these principles are connected? It's starting to make sense, right? So here's some examples of consistent practices some of you already mentioned. Let's talk about integration, the integration principle. Knowledge is good by itself. Communication is good by itself. But together we get shared understanding, right? Integration is ensuring that spiritual fitness exists in a framework intertwined with all H2F domains. We know H2F in every domain is healthy, but incorporating spiritual fitness creates a dynamic duo, keeping us balanced. What are some consistent practices you've integrated at home or with your team? Daily huddle. What else? A chapter out of the Bible. Think about H2F domains: physical, nutrition, sleep, mental. How can you integrate those with spiritual fitness? Turn off the TV and go to bed. Let's talk about unity of effort. Multi-domain operations consist of land, sea, air, cyber, space. Each layer supports a unified force to defend and attack effectively. We're thinking about unity of effort, our teammates, commanders, providing unity so a soldier, your commander, can practice their spiritual fitness. Also, providing accountability and encouragement to be consistent. Does that make sense? Here are some examples of unity of effort. Let's talk about sustainability. In your groups, the soldier uses 3,000 calories walking all day. The mission requires 5 days of travel, but each MRE provides 2,500 calories. How many MREs does the soldier need for the mission? There's only 3 available in supply. So your tables, tell me how many MREs. You have 3 minutes to discuss. Got a minute left. This is a true test on kindergarten math. Do we got it? By a show of hands, who thinks they have it? Who really thinks they have the right answer? You do? Okay, sorry, Brandon, what y'all got? That's right, 6. Can you explain how you got that? Correct. Did everybody get 6? Who did not get 6? It's okay, we're all family here. Math is not my strong suit either. My 18-year-old had to break this down to me. No judgment, judgment-free zone. How would a lack of MREs affect the mission? Some of you may say it won't affect the mission because I don't like MREs anyway, right? But in an environment where that's all you have to eat, no DFAC, no Jimmy Dean's, are you gonna eat a Hope sandwich or are you gonna hope your supply did their math correctly? We know that the U.S. Army strength lies in its ability to rapidly project combat power. We also know that an Abrams tank has limited range, but when you add logistical support, it extends its capability. What are some sustainment supply lines for a soldier spiritually? A community of faith, a UMT, strong teammate battle. Fasting. Just as sustainment enables combat, it's also a consideration for spiritual fitness. For those stationed in the mountains, you are not gonna climb Pikes Peak, for instance, for spiritual enrichment, 19 miles up, 19 miles back down every day and think your mental and spiritual is going to be sustainable. I'd like to meet somebody that thinks your recovery is going to be magnificent. Because after 2 miles in the ACFT test, I'm laying on the ground gasping for air. Imagine doing something like that repetitively. Your body is not going to sustain that, not mentally, holistically, spiritually. Your tank will be depleted. That's what we mean by sustainability. Let's talk about economy. Why is Yard B more valuable? What did it take to be more valuable? Yes. Great. She hit all check marks. What else? Besides money, besides work, what else? Say that again, sorry. Location? Elaborate. Soldier A put in more time, effort, took pride in the task, and made it his own. Who came out with a better product, A or B? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, sir. The investment. What we wanted to get after was compound interest. When you take the time to invest in anything, whether it be your spiritual fitness or H2F principles, and apply it to every aspect of your life, it will be more beneficial. Thank you. Here are examples of economy practices for spiritual fitness: volunteering at a shelter, donating blood, contributing to a spiritual service. On the right, there's a picture of West Point football players stretching before, during, and after the game. Why? To prevent injury. Stretching now means 30 years from now, I should be agile, able to run with an 18-year-old. Have you seen the old people Olympics? They are running out there. That's my goal. Apply this to your ACFT, right? Flexibility, long-term use. Here's some examples. All these are spiritual fitness examples. Responsiveness. Let's talk about responsiveness and spiritual fitness centers around a soldier's source of strength. How many of you have soldiers come to you and say they have no support system? That's impossible, right? We are a team. We're supposed to be a mutual source of strength. But when we're talking about responsiveness, I ask you, what is your individual source of strength? How do you, as religious affairs specialists and chaplains, get through a challenging day? Check on learning. What are the 8 spiritual fitness principles? Developing a spiritual fitness plan. The last column is how you rank it. 1 is not aligned, 2 is somewhat aligned, and 3 is fully aligned with the principle. Take 3 minutes, come up with an example we'll share at a couple different tables to see if you grasp how to build this plan. So it's gauging the reality your spiritual fitness plan will work. All right, think of it as a tool to gauge your spiritual potential. Next tool is spiritual fitness assessment. Soldiers and units can use this to assess themselves and subordinates. It gives a broader look without engaging in PII. It's self-explanatory. It's a great tool. I've used it. You have the example. In summary, today you were taught the 8 principles of spiritual fitness. We went over the spiritual fitness plan and briefly touched on the spiritual fitness assessment. This concludes the block of instruction. Thank you.